views on easement usage in front yards and driveways, specifically parking in driveway easements during no parking hours.
Well, I live over on Chehala over here off of Garrison, and I know on our part of town the easement is 14 feet from the curb. I know on some parts over here on the other side of 14 the easement can be virtually nothing. I'm not sure exactly how that all came to be. I just know that currently, right now, those are the standards that we live with. Within the first 14 feet of our property line, we have some driveway space. We have quite a collection of trees and bushes and shrubs. The ultimate potential is that the city might someday decide to put sidewalks everywhere, and we would be forced to remove our trees and shrubs from however much of that easement they chose to put down sidewalk on. And that's currently the way things are, and that could be changed in the future, but right now you have to live with the rules that you are governed by. Part of the easement access is for water meters so that they can be read by our city staff to see what everybody's using and put out accurate bills. So that would obviously have to be maintained no matter what was done with it. I actually was talking with Steve and Jim last week or week before when they were out doing the readings, and I asked them if ours was particularly hard to get to because there's a small shrub and a tree they have to kind of walk around to get to, and they told me that actually on the scale of 1 to 10 it was only about a 4 or 5, and they recounted a story of one guy who moved into town a while back, and the first thing he did was he extended his driveway and paved right over the water meter thing. So there are definitely some limitations and some considerations that have to go into living in a town with easements the size that we have, but that's the way it is right now.
The easement issue, I don't have a problem with it. I think though what maybe the questioner might have been looking at was leaving your car parked on the street overnight or something like that, and we have rules that say you don't leave your cars parked on the street overnight. And part of that was based on, like the snow event we had in December, where they're plowing all the time. And part of it is to allow the street sweepers to work as early as they want. And I think the other part of it was just to make sure that our fire trucks and stuff at late hours or early morning hours would have easy access, because let's face it, we have nothing but cul-de-sacs. Try to find one straight street here that goes over 3 blocks.
I would just concur with that. The question didn't specifically address it, but parking in the street is against the law overnight, and specifically for those reasons, I think obviously the most important of those is fire and emergency access. The end of Chehala where we live, even with no cars parked on the street, it's a pretty tough go for those guys to turn their big truck around down there, and so if there are cars parked there in the middle of the night and someone's house is burning, it could be potentially a life and property threatening situation.
So let us know what your proven leadership is and when did it occur?
I guess it first occurred when I was 18 years of age and serving in Vietnam. Over there, if you lived, you wound up being in charge. I'm here, so the answer is I was in charge. I, at 19, was promoted to sergeant, and I guarantee you 98% of the people I was looking at were older than I was. But I'm here, so I obviously, and I didn't get busted for not doing my job, so I must have been able to attain that and was platoon sergeant at my last duty station. I'd say the next proven leadership was when I was managing the cab company. I took a cab company that had 10 cabs on the street, a mechanic that liked to fix things by taking a chisel to threads rather than put a lock nut washer on so that the nut would not back off. When I crawled under a few cars, he was down the road in very short order. And in about 3 weeks' time, I'd taken that cab company from 10 cars on the street to 24 cars on the street. And I also went from having about 40 drivers to having 60 drivers, and 60 drivers who were driving in cars that would get them back safely. I also was the president of a large homeowners association in Lacey, and I did that for 2 years. And there were actually more people in that homeowners association than live in this town.
Well, first, as a fellow Marine, I would like to offer my thanks and congratulations and respect to Jerry for his service in the name of our country. I served from 1975 to 1979, so by classification, I'm a Vietnam era veteran, but the way it worked out, I spent my entire 4 years in Southern California fixing electronic gear and learning how to run computers. So that was not my first proven leadership experience. After I got out of the Marines, I stayed down in Southern California, went to school, got a college degree, and started working at a hospital as a night shift data entry guy. After about a year, the accountant left there, and I was able to computerize his job and turn it into a 4-hour-a-day job, save the hospital about $30,000 a year by not replacing that individual for a year. Following that year, the director of the computer department left to pursue a career in medical records, and that was where I got my first chance to be a leader. The other people in the department had no interest in moving up into managerial position. I did. I took over the department, was there through 2 computer conversions, walked doctors and nurses and everybody else in the hospital through a very frightening change experience that most people are petrified of, and was able to successfully do that not once but twice in the same hospital. The first time they were told by the administration that it was going to last for at least 5 or 10 years, and 2 years later we told them, no, we're going to do it again, and so I really got a lot of chance to develop my leadership skills that time around.
Well, I also attended college. I attended Wenatchee Valley College, and became an editor, and then was put on the student senate, and then put on the state senate and presidents association. Also, I keep watching Mike over here with his sign for 10 seconds, and it is rather distracting but helpful. Anyhow, I forgot the other thing, and now I'm being cut off.